So the first thing I'm going to do is add some CalMag, and it doesn't matter what kind of CalMag you use. I don't think. I'm assuming CalMag is CalMag, but I did put some in here already. We are at about 102. Let me just bring it in. We're at about 102 of CalMag. So now I'm going to put in a dash of seaweed extract here. And I've had this bottle for quite some time. I got it from Nick's a little over a year ago. It lasts for a long time because you don't need a whole lot. And I do have a little syringe to pull it out, but I decided I'm just going to pour today. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way, the way you cook. Just pour it in and check it, and if it needs more, you give more. The problem is if it needs less, then you can actually solve that problem as well, because you can just add some more water in here. Now, my water I started off with was 0 ppms. All right, so we're about 141. So I'm going to put a little more in there because I'm trying to get it to about 150. So let's do that. Just a dab will do ya. And then just stir it up a little bit here. There we go. And let's see what we've got now. We are exactly at 150. Do you guys see that? That doesn't happen very well. 151. Okay. Well, close enough, right? All right. So now what I'm going to do is put my in there. I'm going to take, and I always like to mix my solution in the container that I'm going to be soaking said orchid in. Now, if I have several I'm going to soak, then I do it in my bucket. But if I just have one, I like to put it in the container that I'm going to use. So then I will pour it in here. And there's probably more water than I need, which is always a good idea. I will set her in here. And then I will pour from the edge, because she is in moss, so it will spread throughout. And as much as I don't like this moss, it doesn't smell bad, it's not going over, and her spike is still on her, so I'm going to utilize that by leaning it up against the counter to keep her from knocking over. Slowly pour it in, and I poured some in the back, and I like to pour it kind of all around, being careful not to get anywhere near the crown. And then I will just, back here where there's not a lot of plant stuff going on, I am going to just finish pouring this water in until I get to the rim. Oh, I actually judged that pretty good, didn't I? So now I will leave her to soak, but first, before I do that, I'm going to remove some of the moss away from these joint leaves, just to make sure that no water gets into the leaf joints or the you know, especially up here in the crown. And since I poured from the back, it didn't splash up, so now I want to make sure to not get any in the leaf joints to protect that. And this leaf is senescing, so I will still leave that on there if and when I repot her. So now I will let her soak for about 30 minutes in here, and then we'll come back. While she is soaking, I do wipe off the leaves just in case there's anything that decided to ride home with me that I don't want in my home, you know, some bugaroos. So I've already wiped her once, and this, you can see the pad is pretty dirty on both sides. And then I take a clean pad and I spray both sides with hydrogen peroxide. Some people will spray the plant itself. I prefer spraying the makeup pad or cotton ball or whatever you choose to use to wipe your leaves, simply to keep from spraying into the leaf joints to possibly get crown rot later. And I like to wipe them twice so that if I miss something the first go around, I catch it on the second. And I am wiping the underside of her leaf because, as you can tell by the sunshine, it is still pretty early in the day, so that the stomatas have not opened yet. So that means that she is not currently breathing. Now that I've done one side with this side, I'll flip it over and I'll use the other side on the opposite leaves. There we go. And then I just wipe. Sometimes I do it in a circle, sometimes I do it straight. Now when I get to the underside, that I always will do in one even swipe or as even of a swipe as I can, because I don't want to be scrubbing and damaging that lower section, like I said, where the stomata are. So she's been soaking now for about 10 minutes. So she's got about another 20 minutes to go. And once we have her soak, we'll pull her out and look at her roots. So just a quick look at her before we put this one away for a little while. So she's been had her soak for 30 minutes, and then she's been out of her soak for about an hour. And so far, these leaves are already starting to hydrate, especially this top ones. This bottom one may or may not hydrate. I'm hoping that it hangs on at least long enough for her to produce some fresh roots, and hoping that this leaf continues to grow. This one will continue to senesce because it's already started, and I noticed that she did have some sunburn right there, if you can see it, because where I found her in the clearance rack, the sun was beating right on her. So I don't know how long she'd been sitting there before I picked her up. For the next month at least, she will only get plain water and magnesium and calcium. So once this moss, excuse me, once this moss is at almost dry, so not quite dry but almost dry, I will just give her a flush with plain water. Instead of soaking her, I will run the water through and let her drain really well before I put her back in her decorative pot. And then after, you know, she dries out again or almost dries out again, I will give her another calcium and magnesium soak, again at 150 parts per million for 30 minutes. And then, excuse me, from there she will get, again, another flush at the next time. And then on the, what is that, the fourth, fifth one, she will get right at 100 parts per million of MSU fertilizer. And then a flush, and I'll continue kind of going back and forth doing that until she's ready to get repotted. I will make sure to put her in an area that does not have a lot of light to stress her out, since she is new to my home. Eventually she will go where I want her to go, but for now I'll put her in more subdued lighting, let her kind of acclimate, because she did come from the hot outside. They did not have their Phalaenopsis inside. They actually have it in the outside area. Even though it's part of the inside, there's no air conditioning or anything going on. It's the elements. So she's come from super hot to a regulated temperature that she's not quite used to yet. So in addition to trying to acclimate to that, I don't want to stress her out by giving her the light that she needs as well. So I'm just going to let her settle in for a month, and then we will see what she looks like at the beginning of October and see if it'll be time to repot. Fingers crossed it is. Guys, have a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one.